homie.
One of the highlights of the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic was indeed the timber carry, because it is a unique type frame carry that's going uphill. The ending position is 40 inches higher up in the air in elevation than the beginning position. They begin on a parallel platform, so they don't encounter the incline right away, but once they get off that platform, they're inclining all of a sudden. A very, very difficult 881-pound frame with light knurling on the handle. So let's have a look at how that all broke down and see the complete results for the timber carry at the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic. So as we mentioned, JF had withdrawn by this point, so 2 points went to Trey Mitchell. Trey went fourth in the order. He was barely able to budge the frame at all after 3 or 4 attempts. Then he calls it and seems a little frustrated and a little disappointed. You can kind of almost see the emotions changing on his face. Lis was saying that Trey has plenty of back strength, which is clear. It's just the hands that were giving out on him. 2 points for Trey. They only gave him credit for an inch on this one, unfortunately. 3 points went to Rob Kenney. So Rob said leading up to this event that he would be doing damage control after being in the lead after 3 events, since he has chubby little hands and that's not conducive to this type of event. He basically said your technique here should be to try to outrun your grip, right? Get to the end faster than it takes for your grip to give out. And so Rob went 9th in the order. His body was pitched far forward without the frame being pitched far forward. So guys like Tom Stoltman had the frame really pitched forward. Rob had his body forward to try to, apparently, at least to me, try to get more forward distance without having the frame crash into the platform, which maybe was a good way to go, but, didn't really get that far. 8 feet 7 inches isn't terrible, but good enough for 3 points here, beaten by quite a few of the other guys. But an interesting technique, and he did tear his callus right off the bat, so that didn't help things at all either. 4 points went to Evgeny Markov, who went 14 feet 1 inch. He went first in the order, and his initial lift was really strong. He got off that starting platform, which I mentioned was parallel, and then not too far past that, unfortunately, after his first drop, just got stuck there, could not get it back up again anymore after that. Bobby Thompson comes away with 5 points and 18 feet 11 inches, so Bobby went 5th in the order, and the crazy fact is that Lis is saying that the world record on this weight, like the 881-pound weight, if you were doing this as a deadlift, Lis was saying a 400-kilogram deadlift is 6 reps. And these guys are being asked to pick it up and run with it. And when you think of it that way, it's really astounding what they're being asked to do in this particular event. So Bobby had 5 total carries and drops throughout his run here. Most guys can't pick it up again after the first drop or second drop. They have a lot of trouble, and Bobby just kept picking it up and down like, he wasn't getting fatigued, which was really interesting and really amazing to me. He went to a hook grip to try to overcome the grip giving out. Lis was saying that would be extremely painful, if you try to do that with that kind of weight. And afterward, Bobby showed his bleeding left hand with the ripped callus. So, your first inclination is, oh, his hand's bleeding. That must be really painful. And it is. But really, the bigger problem is that now your hand is slippery and you can't hold on like you should be able to hold on. So 5 points for Bobby Thompson. 6 points go to Luke Stoltman, who comes away with 21 feet 5 inches. So as you've seen, nobody's finished the course yet here. The course is 35 feet long, and the current record holder is Mateusz Kieliszkowski, who did not compete today. Luke went 6th in the order. He had 6 total picks. The first one was pitched severely forward, like I mentioned earlier, like Tom did as well, and didn't make it very far before having to put it down, and he even hit the side rail after his first pick. Then he adjusted his hand position along the handles to get a better balanced pick. So first he was way pitched forward, then he brought his hands back for the second pick, so the frame was better balanced. But the grip was already giving by this time, and his last 2 tries were actually sliding it, so I'm not sure if they gave him credit for those slides or not, but, be interesting to know. But I don't think it would make a difference. No one was close enough to this particular distance that it would cause a placing difference. And funny enough, Luke seemed to be having an argument with his hand afterward, as the commentator said as well. It didn't seem torn, but basically like, why did you give out on me kind of thing. 7 points went to his brother, Tom Stoltman, who went 26 feet 2 inches. He went 2nd in the order after Evgeny Markov. A strong start for Tom. Again, he was also tilted way forward with his frame, and this only seemed to work due to his height. Like, if you were 3 inches shorter, that thing would be dragging in the front. And so Lis says this pulls hard at the index finger when you have it pitched that far forward, and it would make the grip give out sooner than it maybe normally would. 8 points went to Alexei Novikov, who went 30 feet 10 inches, so very close to the end of the course, but doesn't quite get it. Alexei said he had a knee injury coming in here when they were interviewing him after one of the other events. He said, normally I do very well at this, but, my knee is giving me problems, so I don't know what's going to happen today. And, so basically he had a solid and steady pick and run. Wasn't slow, but wasn't super lightning fast either. He got a lot of the way up, put it down, and he couldn't pick it back up. So shades of World's Strongest Man, he turns it around backwards like he did there and tried to pick it up and go backwards with it. Got maybe like a couple inches, but not too much more. And again, did not make it the whole rest of the course. But then he walks away limping, so maybe probably confirming that knee issue that he talked about. But it was good enough for second place so far, 8 points. Overall, at that time, it was second place. Then we have Martinez Lis, who comes away with 9 points, and he actually finishes the course, 10.03 seconds. He went 8th in the order, a strong and fast run. The thing I most noticed with him was he got all ready and then gave the ref a nod, letting the ref or the judge know that he was ready to go, so that the judge then subsequently instantaneously hit the whistle and Martinez could take off right away. It was a really professional move where he could time his start so that his reaction time would be right on point, as opposed to what we'll see with Maxime Boudreau in a minute, who actually ended up winning the event, but could have gone even faster, in my opinion. So, as I said, Martinez, a very fast time. When he finished, Sean Woodland said, this might be enough for a top score. But although this was fast, my eyes could tell me that it wasn't as fast as Maxime Boudreau. A great run, though, 9 points for Martinez Lis. Seems guaranteed for second place. Rob Kearney hadn't gone yet, but Rob not as good at these type of events as Martinez is, so seems like Martinez had second place locked up, and that's how it turned out. He did get second place in the Timber Carry. And of course, as I mentioned, your winner, Maxime Boudreau, took off like a rocket ship, 8.41 seconds. Maxime said in one of the interviews that he wasn't sure really how to time it and when to start, so his reaction time wasn't as good as it could have been. And I saw this when I watched the video. It was evident that the whistle blew, and it took him a while to get going, at least a second, I would say. And if you take that into consideration, he'd be flirting with the world record. If his reaction time was like Martinez's reaction time, he'd be flirting with that world record. So, he had a solid pick, a little bit of a forward pitch, but not excessively so, just enough to sort of get him the forward momentum. Super fast steps and aggression all the way through, was screaming before he got there like he knew this was a great time. And I knew it was over at this point. The commentary team was saying, this may be good enough to stand up to win the event, and I was just thinking, this is definitely a winning time. Nobody's going to beat this time, and nobody did. 8.41 seconds for Maxime Boudreau, just a rocket ship, wins the Timber Carry. And so that's how the Timber Carry frame event at the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic shook out. Let's take a look at the last event, the Stone to Shoulder.